What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be working on this 2011 Lexus LS460 with a 4.6 liter V8 engine, all-wheel drive model. We're going to be replacing the front rotors and the front brake pads, along with the front brake sensors. So let's get into it. Now before you start any brake job, go ahead and make sure you remove the master cylinder cap. This will allow the brake fluid to rise, and in case it dribbles over, it doesn't kind of pressurize in the master cylinder, causing any damage to the master cylinder. If any fluid does dribble out, just go ahead and spray it down with some brake clean. So we're over here on the driver's side, and I've already done the passenger side just to make sure I know what I'm doing. Relatively easy brakes to replace. Just walk you through the steps and be no problem. So first thing I would do is go ahead and pull this little brake bleed cap off, which is also hooked into the brake pad wear sensor. And then go ahead and lift up, actually go ahead and peel back from this pin and that pin. And that's just a little, I don't know, wing clip for the brake wear sensor. And then you probably can't see it because everything's all black. There's a little clip right here. We're gonna take that little clip, pop it out, and then we'll pull away our brake pad wear sensor. There's a little clip right there. And this should be able to slide off. Now go ahead and check the brake sensors for any wear. These are still brand new because the pads actually, I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but the pads still have quite a lot of meat left on them, but my brother was experiencing some vibration and the rotors are actually quite bad, so we decided just to do a whole brake job. So we're not going to have to replace these brake pad wear sensors, but if you see any shiny bit, that's telling you that the brake pad wear sensor has made contact with the rotor and has started to close that circuit, and telling the driver that your brake pads need to get replaced. But again, these are still in great condition, so we're just going to go ahead and reuse them. Go ahead and drive out our top pin. Go ahead and drive the bottom pin out. Then remove this clip. And then now, and go ahead and remove this guy. Now we got most of the clips out of the way. Go ahead and just push back on the piston a little bit so we can get this brake pad freed up. Pull that out. Same to this. Since we're replacing the rotors, don't really care if I'm pressing against the rotors at all. Now when we go ahead and remove this brake caliper, the hose is going to be a little bit too tight, so we're going to have to remove this bolt behind the steering knuckle, and this is a 12 millimeter, and then that'll give us enough slack to put our brake caliper onto our milk crate. And then there are two caliper hanger bolts, both 19 millimeter. You have one up here, and you have another down there. Now I don't have a whole lot of space to stick a camera back there while I undo the bolts like I normally do. So I'm just using this ratchet and a pipe just for some more leverage on the bottom bolt, because it's kind of a pain to get at with the impact. Just like the other side, this side's pretty seized on, so I'm gonna have to get the hammer and start beating the crap out of this. Go ahead and put our caliper on. I already applied some blue Loctite to the caliper hanger bolts. Make sure you go ahead and put your 12mm bolt back in where your brake line was. So we have the outboard pad right here. We're going to go ahead and prepare the little wire shim or whatever it is. So we're going to want to go ahead and stick it through this hole here like that. And then we want to get it hooked on to this ledge here. And then just push it on like that. Easy peasy. Now when you go ahead and insert your pads, sometimes there's arrows. These pads don't have any arrows, they're non-directional. So if they do have arrows, make sure they're facing upwards. But again, these don't have arrows. The only thing you have to be mindful of is this little wire shim goes along the bottom. And I did put a little bit of copper anti-seize along the back. This is some 3M high temp copper anti-seize for brakes. That's the only place I apply any type of lubricant on this. Now that we got the pads in, go ahead and get this little clip in there. So this hooks in, there's a hole there. This little guy hooks in here, wraps around the bottom, goes there, hooks into the other side. Oh, come on. And that's all done. Then we get this guy, we hook it at the bottom, hook it at the top, take our pin, drive it through, make sure that the pin goes in between this loop, and then obviously it hooks into this thing, and then the same for this side. And I just gotta push this pad a little bit in. Come on. There we go. That one's done. And now the top pin. That's done. And now we take our brake pad wear sensor and shove it in this slot. We go ahead and put this clip on it. Okay, that's all nice and clipped in now. And then it's hard to see, but there are two holes in these pins where some cotter pin would go. And that pin is actually this little wing clip. So there's a hole there and a hole there. And then essentially what happens is you got to pull these pins out just a little bit, and then you hook the back of this wing clip behind the pin and then push everything forward to lock it in. So essentially this little wing clip helps to lock in the pins from backing out in case anything happens. And go ahead and put our dust cap back on our brake bleeder. And that's how you do this whole clip assembly on this here Lexus.
And that's how you change the front pads and rotors on your 2011 Lexus LS460 all-wheel drive with a 4.6 liter V8 engine. A couple things you want to do before starting the car: go ahead and make sure you torque your lug nuts to 105 foot-pounds. Go ahead and pump the brake pedal. Then go ahead and start the vehicle, pump the brake pedal a little bit more, and go ahead and top off the brake fluid if it needs it. After that, go ahead and follow the manufacturer's brake pad bed-in procedure, and then after that, you should be all set. If you would have done something differently, please let me know in the comments below. If you really like content like this, please consider subscribing. And as always, I really hope you found this video helpful, entertaining, and educational. Until next time, YouTube, thanks and take care.